I'm going to do a video today based off of what I do for my wings. A lot of friends wanted me to do one, so this is what I do for my wings. It's pretty easy. It's all about what you like. And I've just trial and errored over the years doing what I like. And this is pretty much what I've come up with. Um, what I start out with is I marinate my wings, and it depends on what flavor you're doing. I'm doing kind of like a even ratio of hot and barbecue today. So I marinated them in hot sauce and barbecue sauce. You can pick whatever barbecue sauce you really like, whatever hot sauce you really like. Um, that's that's what I do. I use this one was Moore's habanero and some Sweet Baby Ray's. So with your wood, what you want to do is you want to soak that overnight or at least a few hours before you're going to put it on. Today I'm using some apple wood, as you can see here, just soaking up all that good water. This is what I use for my rub slash seasoning. I use Montreal steak, Weber's kicking chicken. Use any kind of barbecue rub, but I've been using this one lately, the Famous Dave's rib rub. Just a little bit of that and some coarse black pepper. So I mix all that together in just a little kind of container here, get it all mixed up and even. And then with this shaker is cayenne pepper. So what I use for that, I do when I set out the wings on the tray over here, I will use cayenne pepper and just kind of sprinkle on each wing, and then I'll go back over with the rub and sprinkle that on each wing on just the top side to begin with, because what I'm actually going to do for my wings, these will be smoked wings, but what I do for the beginning part is I broil them. There's a lot of techniques to kind of get the skin crispy, and that's what this is for. Other people will fry it at the end for like a couple minutes just to get the skin crispy, but if you put a bunch of rub and that kind of stuff on it, and you're marinating them, and you're saucing them, which I'll do later, you can't really just dump them into the fryer after that. It'll just burn up everything. So that's why I've decided to do broil. Got my wings all laid out on the tray, and I'm gonna do my rub now. This is the cayenne pepper, and just gonna sprinkle that on each. And now I'm gonna do my rub that I mixed up together. And I tend to over season things. That's just kind of how I am. You can do however much you want, but I'll do it kind of lightly on there for right now. You want to get a good coating on each wing just so you can get all that flavor, because that kind of crisp up and chars up, and it just makes your wings kind of nice. You can see my wings here. I have the oven set to 500, so I will pop these in anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes on each side. I will flip them and then put the rub on that side and pop it back in for 8 to 10 minutes. While I'm doing this, I'm also going to be getting my grill. I'm outside at the grill now, and I've got my charcoal loaded up in my chimney starter. The charcoal I like to use is Royal Oak hardwood lump charcoal. It's a good price. You can get it at Home Depot. It's just better than trying to overpay for that Green Egg brand or some other brand that's just way overpriced. Use a chimney starter. I really like my Weber grill. A lot of people swear by Green Egg. It's amazing. It can do the kind of things. It takes forever to heat up. There's some downfalls to it, but I really like my Weber. I have a little camping canister on it, so I can start it pretty easy. I don't have to wait too long. It starts up in about 15 minutes or so. So I'm gonna get my charcoal. I'm out here on the grill my wings are done in the broil. This is kind of how they finished out on there. And I got my grill set up here. My temperature, I usually cook a little bit higher than everybody else does. Actually a good bit higher. So how I'm really doing these is I'm kind of indirectly grilling them slash smoking them, because poultry doesn't need a whole lot of smoke to capture all that flavor. And you're not doing a super long cook on this. The cook time will be close to an hour and a half. So what I'll do is I'll put it about 45 minutes on one side, flip them, sauce them, and then do about 30 minutes, flip them back over, put some sauce on them, and just let the sauce kind of caramelize. So about 10-15 minutes, something like that. So here's my grill set up. I got charcoal pushed to all one side. On the other side, I have a water pan with some water in it, obviously, and that's where I'm gonna put my meat. That just gets it so it doesn't dry out too bad, and just kind of captures anything that might drip down, that kind of thing. So once I place my wings on there, I'll put the wood that I soaked earlier for several hours over here on the charcoal, and then that will provide my smoke. You already get a little bit of smoke since this is hardwood charcoal, but this just kind of adds a little bit of smoke, and since it's apple wood, it's going to add a little bit of sweetness to it. Here's what I do for my sauce. This is all the stuff that I kind of put in it. Got just some Frank's Red Hot. That Frank's Red Hot is honey garlic sting, some minced garlic, some deli mustard that has horseradish in it. I've really liked this Stubbs barbecue sauce brand lately. Some sambal, some of that Moore's spicy habanero, and the Sweet Baby Ray's, and butter, and you're gonna sprinkle some of the rub that you used earlier into the sauce. So one thing that I do, I don't really measure things. I'm not going to measure out anything. I just kind of use my eye. That's kind of what I like about cooking. I just mix some stuff together and see how it turns out. When I'll find out something I really like, I try to replicate it, and I'll try to measure it out and see what I'll do. But for some of these things like garlic, I'll put just a tablespoonful. The sambal, I'll put like a little spoonful, maybe a little, like a good spoonful. Everything else, I just mix in a ratio. So this time I'm doing just a almost 50-50 ratio of barbecue sauce and hot sauce. My sauces, I usually just do a different ratio. If you want it hotter, like more just a straight up buffalo wing sauce, you're gonna do maybe like 70-30 hot sauce to barbecue sauce. If you want barbecue, you just flip it. Do a 70-30 barbecue sauce to hot sauce. Most of the rest of the other ingredients I always use. So that way, most of my sauces will taste the same. It's just the base is whatever ratio you might be looking for. The sauce with all the ingredients in there. Forgot to mention that I also had cayenne pepper along in there, a healthy dose, because I like things spicy, so I'm gonna go overboard a little bit on the spice. Just kind of mix all this together on kind of medium-high heat until it gets all kind of blended and just begins to reduce a little bit. And then you'll just turn it on low to kind of keep it warm, and this is what will spread across the wings after I flip them. So here are my wings. I flipped them. They were a little darker on the front side, so I'm only going to leave them on for another like 15-20 minutes just to get sauce on them. Should turn out fine. It's kind of what happens with wood and fire. You kind of can burn up stuff pretty fast. So here's the final product. I had to adjust my time a little bit because grill was a little too hot, and I got a little more color on the front than I wanted to, but they still turned out fine, and they're still very moist and didn't dry out or anything. So this is how I make my wings. If you have any questions, just let me know.